Along a lonely stretch of road on the Tomaree Peninsula in Port Stephens, New South Wales, is home to one of the country's best-known ghost stories. It is the tale of a young motorcycle rider whose life was tragically cut short when he collided with an oncoming vehicle. This is the story of the Lemon Tree Passage ghost. Usually, the Lemon Tree Passage ghost is described as a single bright white light that appears in the driver's rear vision mirror whilst driving along Lemon Tree Passage Road. The light seems to follow the driver until it reaches a particular part of the road where it violently crashes into a telegraph pole and vanishes. Other accounts speak of a mysterious light appearing behind your vehicle, and a motorcyclist overtakes your car. Further on down the road, the motorcycle crashes and disappears. Rumours abound as to the identity of the doomed motorcyclist. Some point to a motorcycle accident that occurred in the 1980s where a rider and his passenger crashed their motorbike along Lemon Tree Passage Road. The rider survived, yet the unfortunate passenger died instantly. Others point to the death of a young man in the early 2000s who was riding along the same road near the Toonoonba Bay Centennial Gates. He struck a turning car and was pronounced dead at the scene. However, locals suggest that the story goes well back before either of these incidents, almost 20 years before these modern accounts. Daryl Firth grew up on Lemon Tree Passage Road in the 1980s.
I lived on the road between, I think it was 1986 to 1990. It would have been good 4 years. I think we lived there for. I would have been in year 6, which would have been 1986. We were on the school bus, sort of, going. Our house was kind of halfway up Lemon Tree Passage Road between Toonoonba Bay and the Saltash roundabout, which wasn't a roundabout at the time. But anyway, going back home from school, and one of my friends on the school bus mentioned that there was a rider that was a light that used to follow cars that were speeding. It used to appear on the distance behind them, catch up to the car, and then automatically kind of crash beside them, like it would sort of run into the bush and crash. Okay, there's never any mention about who the person was that was on the motorcycle. It was just apparently this motorcyclist that had been killed by speeding, and he was kind of warning for other speeding motorists. And like a apparition would appear, like obviously speed up behind the speeding car or bike and then crash into the forest or the bush there, and that's all pretty much you heard about it, sort of thing. So whenever we used to be in the car with Mum, we used to sort of tell her to go a bit faster so we could have a look for this light that was going to appear behind us, but I never seen it. I think, from what I gathered from what my friend said, like I said, our bus used to travel between probably some tennis courts along Lemon Tree Passage Road and the Toonoonba Bay, that's golf club itself. There's kind of a spot of bush in there with not many houses, which is really between the Oyster Cove turn off and the golf club. And and apparently I gathered it was in there where it was really quiet and quite very dark. No, other than just sort of being in the car with Mum and stuff, and always always checking over your shoulder when you're in the car, sort of making sure there wasn't any ghost light coming up behind you. But I'm pretty sure my Mum was a pretty safe driver, so she done the speed limit anyway, so we didn't really get to go too fast, unfortunately. And by the time I got to my teenage years, we'd almost forgotten about it until it sort of popped up again recently. It's hard to say. Like I said, I haven't actually seen anything come up that's been that definite. It's really just been sort of a light in the distance that I've seen. I don't know whether it was supposed to be it, or it was just, like I said, a car going the other way, or a car sort of right back in the distance. But it's hard to say. I just figured it was, probably someone could have been a warning for people to tell their kids not to speed, sort of thing, that people would speed along there. I know there's been a heap of car crashes along there, and a lot of people have died, sort of thing, hitting trees and stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's come as a warning. I heard that as a kid, and then suddenly years later the stories pop back up again.
Folklore suggests that in order to witness the ghost, the driver must have P-plates on their car or be a provisional license holder. The driver must be under 25 years of age, and most frighteningly of all, must be doing speeds in excess of 100 kilometers per hour. In 2010, a media frenzy took place around the story of the Lemon Tree Passage ghost, where youths on provisional car licenses were doing speeds in excess of 120 kilometers per hour, in the hope of witnessing the ghost. They uploaded videos to YouTube showing them driving at incredibly dangerous speeds. Many of the young drivers had their licenses confiscated after being caught speeding by local police. Paranormal researcher Murray Byfield of Unexplained Australia investigated the case and appeared on various news and current affairs programs, which in turn inspired a movie being made about the ordeal in 2014 by director David James Campbell, simply entitled Lemon Tree Passage. Locals criticised the movie, claimed that it deviated too far from the original Ghost Rider story. Today, a white cross stands near the Tanilba Bay Centennial Gates in memory of one of the several victims of Lemon Tree Passage.